Hi, men and babes. Welcome or welcome back to Logi Has a Podcast. My name is OJ, and I am podcaster in chief of this amazing thing that we have going on here. I'm excited to have you. If you're new, this is about the best place you can be at this time whenever you're listening. So, welcome. If you're not, shout out to you. You're my OG. Um, would I say I don't even know how to address this, but since I've been on YouTube, I have like some older OGs that are harassing me in my comments or in my, DN social media, talking about, oh, Spotify, have you left us? No, I'm coming. You get, I'm coming. Just watch the YouTube first. It's new. You get, be excited. Like, hey, we can see her face. I know you're excited. And you know that Spotify what's it called? What's that thing? Something reflex, conditioned reflex, good conditioned reflex. But I am coming. I'm working on a plan to. I feel like my audios are not as as they were when I was recording with my phone mic. So it's now confusing because like I need the mic for video. So it's a whole thing, but I'm working on it. I have progress to you guys, and I love you. But yeah, welcome back. This is exciting. This is episode 3, I believe. And actually, I had recorded a former episode 3, but my future follow. And I'm not shaming him. I'm not shaming anybody. I love all of us. We're glorying in the Lord. This is good. There's no shape for people that use episode that you painstakingly. If you see that one, I was so silly. I had like my what's it called? That mask on that eye mask. I really started the episode, ever so silly, ever so goofy, have a part, such a cool girl, but he lost it. But yeah, I'm excited. I love talking to you guys. I did a what's it called? Like a sound bites except type situation from one of my last episodes. And I was so shy. I was like, wait, I had to actually like, well, somebody did it for me, which again, I have the best people. I have the best people. Let's talk about that for a minute because in fact, I don't even want to go to the, but I have people reaching out like, oh, how can we help? What can we do? Oh, I do this. Let me do this for you. Let me do this with you with the pod. And I'm just like, gas. I love it because there are many, many things that I want to be that figuring out by myself will take much longer than just having people that are already skilled and want to help. So, men on beams are best. I'm best. And I love it, guys. But yeah, what are we talking about today? Today we're talking about something that I feel like is talked about a lot, but just because everybody has like opinions. And I feel like there's a lot of conversation going on, but there's not a lot of actual learning going on because we're human beings, we're adults, and everybody likes to feel like, or everybody thinks, rightfully so, actually not so rightfully, but everybody thinks that, oh, because I have autonomy, there doesn't have to be like any rules pretty much, like I can do anything I want, blah blah blah. And it's like, oh, that's all well and good, but when consequences hit, it's always yeah. But anyway, today I'm gonna be talking about the L word. I'm going to be talking about love. I am going to talk about love. And I don't even know how to approach this first. My husband's ability today. Shout out to annual leave. Because like I don't want to say. But yeah, my husband is able today and it's been he has been at home for 3 weeks. So the thing is, our husband, like I said, is both a banker and a pastor. So his time is weekdays pretty much non-existent. So we are on the same weekends. And so having him home on a weekday is just like such a miracle that even though he just took 3 days this week to be off, it's like Oh, it's a holiday in Anoga. And today's the last day of P3, whatever. I'm going to God still. But, he was just here and he was like, what is it about this topic? What is it about love, marriage, even parental equals? Like, what is it that bothers with the most? And I remember stumbling because I'm just like, what is it that bothers me the most is a deep question because like there's many, 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 many pockets on borderings. But I think I will start from just how love is introduced to many of us. For many of us, we're introduced to the idea of romance very early. Very, very early. Like if you think about it, Cinderella and them niggas have no business kissing in the children's films and all of that. But like it just is that whole idea of like, oh, for I'll speak for girls. I don't know when it starts for guys, but it's this whole thing of like, oh, handsome prince, oh, da da da, oh, da da da. I remember literally being in nursery school and I would talk to a boy as I did. And my mom would be like, oh, is he your husband? And I'll now be there giggling shy. You know, my husband. So it was just like a thing. And then I think it was now really maybe secondary school, 11, 10, 11, 12, that whole thing, where like the idea of crushes now starts being like more solid. And then many people start dating by the time they're teenagers. And unfortunately, like many people get sexually active just shortly after that. So like you have people late secondary school or like early university. In fact, it's almost now in our culture, in pop culture, if you graduate from university still a virgin, it's like, huh? So there's this thing about love that is very like sensual and not very, it's not introspective at all. It's not an institution. It's not any of the in quote boring stuff. It just is riding on how you feel. And the problem with that is like when real love is now actually demanded of you, you have no idea how to give it. And that's when you now start seeing stuff devolve into the most ridiculous situations. So that's why you see people that are married and they absolutely listen, they absolutely hate each other. You know these conversations that happen sometimes on Twitter, and it's just like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? You see women saying stuff like, if your husband knows how much you earn or how much you have or how much you have in savings, you are a fool. You see men saying stuff like, oh, your wife is not your family, or I'm not attracted to my wife because she's pregnant. The mo- I'm so sorry. The most unhinged things, the most absolutely unhinged things. And I think that it is just because love is presented usually first in like this very sensual way. I don't know that I'll speak from experience, my experience and the experiences of like the people that I grew up with. I don't think our parents sat us down and did the whole. So for many of us, the talk was like, "Oh, stay away from boys," or blah, 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 blah. It's not like this is why you're feeling what you're feeling, and you're going to feel this for a long time. But this is how to handle it with sense, or this is what the end goal is, or this is where you're actually going. This is why these are distractions. It was never that. It was just always like either pretend it doesn't exist, or if a guy if you're millennial or older Gen Z, if a guy touches you, you get pregnant. So I don't even want, so it's like if you like a guy or a girl, is sometimes like presented as the greatest evil, like, oh, you just want to kill yourself and die forever. I'm like, okay, but we've been watching Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty, and she was kissed by a handsome prince. Abby, which one was kissed by a handsome prince? It was Sleeping Beauty. She slept for 100 years, which, by the way, like, let's unpack it. You were doing naming ceremony. Hmm? A winch, be a fairy, now comes and does sorry, I'm being very local. Now comes and does wants something that you will sleep for 100 years. You too go. You now sleep for the 100 years. And then somebody now comes and sees somebody that has been sleeping for 100 years. And his first bright idea is now like, okay, do you know what? I'm not going to kiss her. Let's not even ask that was her mouth smelly because she has not brushed for 100 years. let's not go there. The idea of seeing somebody that has been sleeping since your grandma was born, and you now say, do you know what? Do you know what? Do you know actually? Do you know what we can do? Do you know what we should do right now, today? Let's kiss her. That aside, Beauty and the Beast, you get kidnapped by a quite literal monster. Then you stay in his house. Then his candle and one clock are talking and singing, be my guest, be my guest. You two, you now be their guests. Then you now fall in love with the beast. Then it's not until you kiss him that he now turns into a prince. Ah, that's an aside, but it's just like there are many things that were present, and I know that you could be like, oh, it's storytelling, it's creative license, and it's like it's fine. But if you consider the ages of the people that are watching these things, and if you now consider how not all right many of us in our generation are, that's why girls, bare women are falling in love with actual monsters that don't have sense, and it's not like I can change him. Call L, this isn't you. Like the nigga is mad. He wanna beat you, and you're there like, oh no, he can. I know his heart. I know. Hi. And I say, oh man, I don't wanna give personal gist on camera. But you guys, I've done this rubbish before. Ish. I've done this absolute ridiculous rubbish before. So it is, and so I'm not even coming from like a judgmental standpoint. I just feel like many of us were conditioned wrong over such a long period of time that for some of us, even after we found Christ, some strongholds were still strongholds. Like it literally took the grace of God and re-education. And sometimes the problem with that kind of stuff is that when you've been introduced to just like stuff that excites you, no matter how depraved, or because you could be like, well, these are children's cartoons, like nobody's asking you to go and, but it's just like the suddenness of it. And that's why there are people now in real life, real adults that have the idea that if you start a talking stage with somebody and in 2 days she's not giving you like green lights, green lights, green light, green lights, then she's forming. Go to who likes you. There are men, they're actual solid Christian men that believe that if a woman is not acting like she wants to say yes from the first conversation, then like ditch her for somebody that is more excited. And it's like there's the part of, yes, some women just like to play, they like the feeling of being wanted. But I think that if somebody knows, if see, hey, orientation. If somebody knows her value, and it's not just a value that now removes you from having value, this is something that you should also consider as a man. Anybody that knows their value will not give themselves so casually or so cheap. They will not become emotionally entangled with you just because you people vibe on the first day. So it's like, yes, there's a place for vibe, but my brother, there are things that she's not going to commit to. There are things she's not going to allow you into too early. And I'm not even talking about like physical expression of love. I'm talking about even time, even access. If somebody has had her whole life, she already has things that are working for her. She has her job, she has expression, she has ministry, she has whatever. And then you now want to come and she's not willing to spend 12 hours on the phone with you on the first day. Or, maybe she's not responding like da 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 because she has things to do. Or she's not committing her heart too soon. Like she's not doing I love you from the second conversation. Or she's not just, gum body like, oh, I want to see you, I want to see you. See, love makes people act abnormal. But I dare say that sometimes with discernment, there's certain levels of self-control that should even make you proud and should even make you confident and curious. Like, okay, this is the right person. As opposed to this thing that if both of us don't crash and burn together from the first day. And I say this as a retired crasher and burner, I really did burn. I really did burn. And a lot of it was just indiscipline, if we're being honest. A lot of it was just the idea. And that's why people fall in love. Like, they like the idea of falling. They like oh, bro, ish. I don't wanna expose myself. I don't want to expose myself on camera. But I remember one time that I talked to somebody on the phone for 12 hours. 12 hours from 1 p.m. till 1 a.m. I was a university student. I had assignments to do. I had life that was going on. I was already a church girl at the time. Okay, that day I didn't have to miss any rehearsal. But it's like, 12 hours. You do not pray. You do 12 hours. And it's like, at some point, yes, when eventually my husband and I met ourselves, we had those kind of long conversations too. Maybe not 12 hours, but after the whole process of like filtering, like, okay, actually getting to know, okay, this person is a solid person. As friends first, too, that's an aside. But it took a minute, and it also took a certain like knowledge of the person and confidence in the person and in what we were building for me to now start giving my time. But you see, these 12 hours, I promise you, we're probably already been talking for only like 2 weeks when I did that rubbish. Or a week. Obviously never went anywhere. As you can see, I'm not married to them. But I'm just trying to say that, like, this was a thing. I used to chase highs. I know many people do. Many people chase highs. That's why it, like, once it's no longer like exciting, like you don't feel like your body is moving you, then you say you've lost a spark. And then that's why many people now struggle, because if you start dating, let's say you start dating very early, let's say you start dating as a teenager. If you date as a teenager and you get married at, I don't know, maybe 25, or even later, you get married at 30. Let's say you start dating at like 17 or 16. That's 14 years of love in a sense. But whoever you're married to, let's say you're now going to be, and mind you, those 14 years is like maybe 6 months here, 6 months here, 2 weeks here. It's like talking stages, talking stages, talking stages. Okay, let's say you had like a couple of serious relationships, maybe 1 year here, 2 years here. When you're now married to somebody and the thought of being married to them for like upwards of 40, 50 years, because if you get married at 30 and you live to be 80 or 90, and God willing, both of you are alive, you are going to be married for double the time that you were alive before you got married. So the idea of committing to one, like, it is so foreign, it is so new. And the reason that it feels like it's biting your body, and the reason that people feel like marriage is where love goes to die, is because you have been trained for a love that is just purely based on instant gratification. You have been trained for a love that's not love at all. You've been trained for selfishness. You've been trained for like excitement. And the idea that marital love is not cute is because there are many aspects of it that are not picturesque, because there are many aspects of it that are really just simple. Like I talked about how my husband and I were or have been at home for the past 3 days, or today makes it the third day. And I am so happy to have him home. Guess what? Before this leave, I was talking about, oh, we'll go on dates, we'll go to places, we'll do this one, we'll do that one. Number one, the first thing you're going to want to do is sleep. And thankfully, I have a babysitter that comes around now, spends some hours a day. And so the moment that she's like with my child and my husband and I are inside, we just want to, in fact, sometimes in separate rooms, like just the idea of like, oh, you don't have work, you can rest. It makes me so happy. And then the conversations that we have as well. I'm not dressed cute to sit down at home. I mean, I'm not dressed the kind of cute that I can post on Instagram, if you get what I mean. I'm not very decent. I'm not very dressed up. I'm not very put together. My edges are not laid. I'm at home having a conversation with the person that knows me the most in this world. It's very intimate, it's very beautiful, but it's not picturesque. And so many people, because if you know my husband and I will keep using us as an example. If you know my husband and I, before we started dating, or while we started dating, because it was a long distance relationship and because both of us were already very social media heavy at the time individually, it just made sense that we loved ourselves out loud. So, like, obviously there were many things that were still kept private, but even I think it was safer for us, because that thing of wanting to be too intimate and too private and too secret place when you're dating, especially when you're not like in the same space, what that now does is when you're together, there's this pressure to like, yeah, okay, and cross boundaries and all of that. So what we did was we kept it
we kept it strong, but we kept it light. So you would randomly see me shoot my husband an open text on Twitter. I'll just talk about how like, oh, I miss you today, or babe, how's your day going, and all of that. And then he respond on the TL, and people would just be like, you niggas, what is it? Relationship people have come again, carry a lot from here. And it wasn't meant to oppress. In fact, I remember when we started dating, and because some people knew us, they were now like, oh, oppression. I had never gotten those responses before, and I knew that it wasn't inherently a bad thing, but I was so uncomfortable with it because I'm like, why are you seeing my love? And the first thing that you're saying is like, oh, single people cannot sleep. Or like, I just don't like all those things. And so, yeah, I said all that to say that, we loved ourselves out loud. So you would see him, maybe I think on our first dating anniversary, he sent me like a picture frame and some things with like with a tag. Would I call it a tagline? With something that we used to sign our letters with, because we used to send ourselves emails. And would say is, we have time. And so he sent me a picture of both of us, and then he's like, Bella, we have time, and it was a frame. And I remember I loved it so much I refused to hang it. It didn't make sense, but sometimes I'm like that. I loved it so much that I didn't hang it. I just kept it in the paper, and just sometimes just remembering that it's there was so special to me. So immediately I got it. I took a picture of it, of video, I think, and I put it on Twitter, just like thanking him openly, like, yo, this is crazy. Thank you, babe, and all of that. And oh my God. So I'm saying all that to say that about our love, we've been very quiet since we got married. And it's not even intentional. Sometimes I'm just like, the person I want to communicate to is beside me now. He's here. He's here. I can tell him when I'm done, kiss him. When I'm done, worship God. Amen. And so it just takes the pressure of the excitement of like loving him loudly is not there as much, because like he has seen me through the most disgusting, uncomfortable, intimate parts of the maybe last 2 years plus. And so I'm like, what I want to say to you, I cannot say it outside. Do you get? On the first day of this leave, I was talking to him, and I don't remember what even triggered it, but then I start thanking him. I start thanking him just for like, I think for like loving me, but it wasn't a superficial, oh, thank you for loving me, like you did this for me, you did that for me. It was like a love that has been bringing me out of myself and has been uncomfortable in many ways and has been exposing me to myself, and has so it was, I was thanking him and I was crying. I was thanking him and I was crying. I was thanking him and I was crying. And he held me. And I'm like, okay, but how do you explain? How do you put that kind, like what kind of caption do you do with that? You don't post that. It doesn't occur to you to carry a camera during that. And so, because we're not showing a lot, because married people in good marriages, in healthy marriages, maybe you show a cheeky date night here and there. But if we're being honest, the purpose of dates was meeting your person and being excited. But you see your person every day. There's excitement every day. You eat sweet food every day. You do things together every day. Activity based dates. Let's go to a cooking class. We cook. So like that thing of, and also sometimes maybe it's just me, maybe it's my personality, but the whole excitement of like dressing up to meet ourselves. Why we dress up from the same house? Like you're the one that's helping me, like, oh, zip my dress. Oh, is my hair fine? I'm just like, let's just do something at home. Let's just so that idea of just being comfortable over being picturesque is now what makes, I think we're so senses driven as human beings that when you're not seeing something being put out, so you see like a lot of cute dates and pictures from people that are dating, and you're like, oh my God, I want to replicate that. And then you see like maybe married people talking, they'll just come and put a tweet about like, or something that they've had to overcome. And so in your head, like marriage is the suffer head love, and then dating is like the true love that allows you to be yourself and all of those things. And the problem with that is you're now seeing love as something that you can put on and put off. Because, like, for many of these dating relationships, they end. And so you're not thinking commitment. That's why, Jesus Christ, I was watching is a scene from one of these like pop the balloon situations. And I think this guy comes and unfortunately it was pop the balloon, I think the Nigerian edition. I love my people, but sometimes comprehension I feel like some of our teachers should be, they, I was about to say flogged, but let's say reoriented. So yeah, this guy comes and he's like, they're like, what are you looking for in a woman? And he's like, oh, I want a woman that'll be this, I want a woman that'll be that, I want a woman that'll be this. And then he's like, I want a woman that'll be understanding. And all of these babes, or most of these babes, popped their balloons. And the reason for that is there's a term in Nigerian Twitter, understanding girlfriend, that is now so demonized. It's like, if you are asking for an understanding girlfriend or an understanding wife, and it's specifically towards women, if you're asking for an understanding wife or girlfriend, then you're asking for somebody that is going to be stupid with you or for you. And I'm like, everything that see, I want to address both parts fairly. I don't even know how much time I have to do this, but it's like, so you would take men that have weaponized women's submission to say the word submission is is cursed forever, right? Anathema, poor, spit, I pour you spit. I can never submit to it. But it's like, no, we're not submitting to every man. We're not submitting to wicked men. If you are, and I know that you will say, well, the people that end up with wicked men don't end up, they didn't plan to. I think that there's a lot that we do that removes personal responsibility from us. And I'm not speaking men or women now, in general. I think that, and it's part of it is like this sensual thing. I think that if you follow the right steps, I think that if you're slow to commit, and not slow like you're dangling or talking to five people at the same time, but slow as per you're actually watching. And I think that if sex is not in the mix, see, if you just do this thing according to God's order, it will be 10 times easier to see when somebody's trying to be a trickster. If you're not, my husband used to say when we're dating that if there's any decision that you feel the need to make under like pressure, like if you don't do it now, your whole body is biting you, sleep on it, take a minute, remove yourself from the, from that place where you need, just go far, detach your emotions. When your eyes have cleared, when you're more level-headed, then come back and make the decision. And I feel like for love, many of us don't do that. And this is, I've just talked about the emotional parts of it, like, oh, you feel this way, or the sexual parts of it. But sometimes there's also the societal pressure part of it. Let's say you're advancing in age, or as a man you've just hit money, or just all the things that society now makes you feel like, okay, at this stage you should have a wife, or at this stage you should have a husband, and you're not working with God's plan for your life. Like you haven't actually sat down to consider that, oh, okay, oh, God has like a specific pattern that my life is supposed to look like. And so I can go to the owner and holder of time and be like, okay, sir, good morning, love you so much, what's now supposed to happen for me? Please guide me. Please direct me. Do you get? I know that you can pray and be led to somebody that can now, because of free will, now decide not to have sense later. And this is the danger of just humanity, right? But like I said, I think that your chances are much better. The reason I say this is because I've now, in recent times, been in a position to hear specifically young ladies, men too, but I'll talk about young ladies because like this one pains me more, because we're usually in a more vulnerable situation when we end up in marriages that are bad. Hmm. It hurts us more because there are many ways that we're vulnerable. There are many ways that your body will be demanded of you. There are many ways, and I'm not talking about sex now, I'm talking about like stuff like pregnancy and postpartum. Those are, having experienced it too, those are maybe the strongest and weakest that you will ever be simultaneously. And it completely depends on your support system. Your experience of the both of them almost 100% depends on your support system. And so if you have somebody that dated you because you were hot and married you so that he could have bragging rights with his friends, like, oh, you're his little trophy, and you too, you have the idea of like, well, he's taking care of me, it's fine. That's the wrongest foundation to build a lifelong relationship on, because like, you've not accounted for the stretch marks that could come. You've not and that's why sometimes there's pregnant women killing themselves and bending over backwards to make sure that they don't look weak, they don't add weight, they don't do. And it's like, if you want to do these things for your health, that's fine. But like, sometimes you can see it, you don't have peace of mind. You're going through the greatest miracle maybe another person can, or somebody can, have or go through with another person, the greatest miracle humanly possible, so to speak. And you don't have the time to enjoy or even like consider the process, because you're too busy proving that, oh, I'm still hot. My husband doesn't have to look outside. Do you know how crazy? Do you know how crazy that is? And this is not victim blaming. This is just saying, like, when people say choose well, choose well. And it's not choose well based on outward experiences. And this is outward appearances rather. And this is where I will say that I think a lot of the advice I will give on here, a lot of the my worldview just stems from having a personal relationship with Jesus, and that now coloring even your choice of a partner. Because there are sometimes you see Christian women and then you marry a man that is not submitted to God because you are 32 and you feel like, if I don't marry right now, my time, my clock, all that stuff. Man, it's hard to talk about this without empathy, or seemingly without empathy, because like, for right now I'm trying to be strict. And the reason I'm trying to be strict is because there's something that one of my pastors will say. She'll say it's better to be single and wishing to be married than to be married and wishing to be single. When you see people that come out of marriages and it looks like they've gotten their spark back, that's the wrong order. That's the wrong order. And unfortunately, it happens so much now. And the reason that people are getting out and you're thinking like, go girl, right decision, is because when they were getting in, they got in for the wrong reasons. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I've talked plenty, 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 but like, please, let's be kind to ourselves. Let's be kind to our generations after us, because like, this thing now, if you sit down and consider that, oh, the person I'm choosing, I can't not that bad. I can't do, okay, everybody is bad 80%. This one is only bad 40%. So let's manage him. You can't. Because this is the person that is going to teach your son how to be a man. This is the person that's going to teach your daughter what to look for in a man. This is the person that's going to hold you when you're sick. This is the person that is going to carry your children when you've just given, like, this is the person, this is the rest of your life. This is directly tied to the quality of your life. Maybe I'll do another episode with my husband highlighting men, but this one, I want to talk about women because it's such a pain point for me. When I see women attack the institution of marriage, or when I now see women carry their past hurts and pass it on to their daughters, it's like, no, ma, let's be real. Part of it's like, yes, you can say this man was unpredictable, but if you had the option of, and this is how I know many of them haven't learned, if you had the option of remaining single or being in a bad marriage again, you wouldn't remain single. And the reason I know this is because I have young women coming to me saying, my mother and my father's marriage is bad. My father right now is not doing anything. He's not providing. He's not at home. He's not faithful. He's not covering us. He's not praying. Right now, my mom is the only one that prays. All of this stuff, like all of the things that a man should do as protector, as provider, as priest, as cover, as all the things. My dad is not doing any of them, and my mom is well aware. But now I'm 26, and my mom is like, you must marry by hook or by crook. My mom is telling me, just bear somebody's name and carry your own children. Anything that wants to happen after should happen. And it's like, ma, Jesus. If you love your daughter and you want to teach her self-respect, and you want her to have a good life, and you want to avoid the problems that are actually avoid, you cannot use sex as a basis on why to get married. You cannot use loneliness as a basis on getting married. You cannot use, okay, so that they will not say that I didn't train my child well, or so that you will not go without having kids, or so you will miss your window, and so that all of the things that we use as pressures to now repeat certain cycles, you haven't learned, you haven't unlearned, you haven't submitted those things in your life that still trigger trauma responses every day, left, right, and center. None of it. You haven't submitted any of it to God, but you want to marry, you want to give birth, and you want to pass it on. And you want to listen to people that don't have good examples or that are not good examples. It's like marriage or love is the one thing that stresses me out the most, because I feel like if people want to listen to somebody, if people want to start a business and have a successful business, yes, you might listen to somebody that had a few pitfalls along the way, but if you really want to succeed, you cannot only listen to the person that had pitfalls. You must listen, find a mentor that is successful in the line of business or something close that you want to do, something you can replicate. Likewise, if you want to go into a certain career, you find a mentor that has excelled in the career. But when it comes to marriage, when people try to find, or when people look at people that are excelling in marriage and they give their points or their reasons, or this is how we did it, this is how God helped us, these are the things to do, this is how you die to self, you look at that, you snare at it, you call it disgusting, you say it's off ahead. Oh, why should I be praying for a man if he cannot know what to do? Then that's his business, I'll leave him. Or why should I cover a woman if she falls in this way? Oh, if she doesn't know how to cook, or if she's not hot, or okay, do you? Congrats, I love it. See you. This is good, good, better, best. You shall never rest. Anyway, maybe there'll be a part two, right? Maybe there'll be a part two for this episode, but it's something I'm really passionate about. And I will end on this note, or I will wind down on this note. The first thing I talked about was how, for many of us, is selfish. So, a way to reorient yourself, please help me check that this thing hasn't stopped recording, because it might be 30 minutes. Okay. Yeah. So, you know, I was saying that a way to make sure that you fight the selfish part of this thing and reorient yourself is, again, I'm a Christian, so my worldview is the word of God. When you see what God intends for the actual institution of marriage to be, it is such a it is a safe place. It is a building. It is meant to make each person holier, not just happier, but holier. It is literally supposed to, it is the, like, it is the accountability structure, it is the pruning, it is the watering. So all of the sweet, pleasant da 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 are there, but all of the dying to self, all of the things. See, I think that sometimes a conundrum that we find ourselves in many times and we don't realize is that we're trying to seek happiness by doing things that directly make us happy, but some of the most fulfilling things in this world are things that serve others. And if your mind can just change from, like, oh, I'm coming to this marriage to fight for my own and hold my space, and if you're not treating me in this way, if you're somebody that is pro service and you marry somebody that is pro service, you're going to have the best time, the absolute best time. And so, if there are times where culture and the word of God clash, if there are times where culture, like popular culture now, even down to like traditional culture, there are things that I remember when I was getting married, there are things that my culture could have demanded of my husband, that I stood up to my family. I was like, yes, people should not, this is the man I love. Oh. This is who I'm that. Like, anything that you're trying to do to him will touch me. Don't think that you've seen who to build. I remember they were trying to make jokes. They say, we collect bride price 5 million. You schooled abroad, you did this, extended family. It's like, all the suffer that we suffered on your head. I said, thanks, but marriage is not a trade-off. Marriage is not where you are making your money back. I'm not dying. By God's grace, we're going to live long. I'm going to make enough money My husband is going to make enough money to take care of you, take care of his family, take care of all our loved ones, take care of our extended. But you see, this marriage, this wedding, you're not going to use it as an opportunity to collect your own back. But there are many women that will see the person that that they love struggling, and it's like, the other say you should bring 5 million. No. And then there are people that will now tell, man, there are people that will now, especially like all these alagas, all these people that at the end of the day, the money is not even going to the parents or the family. That's when I found that out. I was at a wedding where the MC was like something, something. It was just one of those things like, drop, drop. Oh, if you love the couple. And it's like, I now found out at the end that this money was not actually supposed to go to either the couple or their families. It was supposed to go to the MC. Ah, 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 ah. Or stuff like if you're getting married, see, I understand the place of financial responsibility. I don't think that you should be dependent on anybody and trying to get married as a man or woman. But I also think that if both of you individually could take care of yourselves, then you can get married. If you can parent, he can parent. You can buy food, she can buy food. You can make your salary last to the end of the month. She can make her salary last to the end of the month. I think you can get married. Some people always have this idea that marriage must be the next stepping stone to financial, whatever. And it's like, yes, on a level, and especially, in our economy, if everything was great, if everything was perfect, definitely by all means, get married, move to a bigger house, do all the things. But I think that many times we put the cart before the horse. And it is because all the things that are supposed to be marriage things, we try to do shortcuts and make them available in dating. So it's like, oh, you're supposed to only be expressing this type of intimacy in this way when you're married. But who can stop me? Who gonna check me, boo? Who gonna check me, boo? Hmm? Who? Who gonna check me? So you do it when you're single. And so it's just like there are many, 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 many things. So it's like you're having all of the fun without any of the responsibility. And it looks to you like you're getting away with murder. So why? And that's why some people now have this thing of like, oh, why buy a cow if you can just buy milk? All of that stuff. And it's like, because the responsibility and the reward are supposed to go together. And anything outside of that, once you break that, you've broken so that's why we have a lot of people that have men specifically that have many sexual partners and still talking about male loneliness epidemic, blah 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 blah. Because you cannot buy love, you cannot buy commitments, you cannot buy somebody to do forever with you from having or paying for sexual encounters. And for women, there are many women that try to act like, oh well, we're just as sexual. And of course, we're very sexual beings, but our sexuality or our sexual expressions, many times it is a result of safety, which is why once we start feeling safe with a guy, we want to give him our body. Do you get? And so when you now skew that, when you're now trying to prove that, like, oh, I also get, desires and I can also sleep with you and it doesn't need to be that, you now find that by the time you're done with the high of like being desired or the high of like, oh, it's the thrill of like having sex with this person, that person, that person, you now find that you're now like, and this is not even trying to shame anybody, but usually it's like the things that make you desirable, especially in popular cultures like youth, a particular type of body, all of that stuff. So when that now starts to fade and you don't have that safety of like, oh, this person will be with me, I think we can only actually understand it when we think about what we're missing, like what we don't receive as opposed to what we don't give. Because you could be like, well, I never had to have kids, I never needed to go through all that, I never needed to lose my vacation or lose my money or lose my sleep. And it's like, okay, that's fine, congratulations, but I never got to gain on a life partner. I never got to gain on like tears shared. I never got to gain on somebody that will be here for my wins. I never got to be here, to gain. So it's like there are many things that seem. I never got to gain on covering. I never got to gain on like a cheerleader that would have spurred me to do a million times better than I've done. And it's like, I'm not even giving the best, these are like weak arguments for marriage, but I'm even just giving like very superficial things. And so you now find that people are getting like lonelier and lonelier, because after a while, there's a point in your early 20s, in your teens, early 20s, friendship is such a cute everyday thing. It's like you're spending, if you're in university, for example, you're spending every day with your friends, you're seeing them every day, you are but as life gets older, when you're in your 30s, your 40s, you need to literally write it in your calendar to have appointments. Like, okay, I want to do brunch with the girls on this day. Is everybody available? Can we all be? And the reason for that is, as life gets, as you get older, it just follows the pattern that people have more that they're doing. So they're not going to be with you as much. So the order is like, before the age of family, is friends. But after the age of family, there's a natural expectation that like your family that comes from you now, not even just because me, I now consider like my parents and my siblings to be my extended family, and my husband and my child, and subsequently children to be my nuclear family. And so there are times that, my sisters want me for something and they're like, oh, my family. And I'm like, congrats. But I might not be able to travel for this thing right now because I'm like in another state with my family, and I love you, but like this is what it is. If you think about it, my mom got married pretty young, and she was talking about how, I think a few years ago, maybe 2020, was the first time that all of her siblings were in the same house since she got married. For context, my parents have been married for about 40 years. So do the math. And, in her case, her parents had many children and people live in different states, and, and all of that. So it's like, I'm saying all that to say that all of the things that you feel like can be replacements for marriage are very short lived. How many sex do you want to have? And you're 70 years old, and all of your children, your friends have grandkids, and everybody is what, like, it's not even about just wanting people to be around. There's something that sparks in your brain and alters your brain chemistry when you can look around the table and be like, oh, before me and my wife, or before me and my husband, these human beings did not exist. Like if we didn't, I remember when we had our daughter, my husband and I would look at ourselves and be like, wait, we met on Twitter, we fell in love, we got married, and now there's a person. There's a person. There is a person that is the direct consequence of our falling in love. And then, the safety of like knowing that she's going to grow up in a home that is founded on Christ, knowing that she's going to grow up seeing healthy love within her parents, knowing that she's not going to be exposed to unnecessary mindsets. It's like, yes, you can go outside and see stuff, but her foundation is going to be the right thing. Knowing that we've set her up for like a healthy, it sometimes will just look at, I'm close to tears because I'm like, I cannot believe that God allows this. I can't believe that God allows human beings to have this. I can't believe that this level of like, I can't believe that this is real. I can't believe that this is possible. And again, as somebody that has experienced many crashes and burns and very exciting, emotional whatevers, there's nothing quite as deep, like deep, bone deep as healthy love God's way. And the reason that it might seem boring is because you're seeing just how much you have to give up. But I dare say what is gained is better if you do it right. So let your trying to be safe, or let your self-protection be in actually choosing and screening the partner, and do it with God's standards, not yours. And then when all that is said and done and you have the person, please unclench. Don't try and be the police when you're already married. Don't be looking over your shoulder. Be a safe space for the person and allow them to be a safe space for you. And pray, and pray, and pray, and pray so that your safety remains safe, and so that the devil is not going to use coin in either your head or your partner's head. And when all that is said and done, you will reap the benefits of doing love God's way. And I hope that it is the case for you. And I really hope that is the case for those that you love as well. And for everybody that is married and watching this, shout out to you, you rock. And for everybody that's single and watching this, mwah, I wish you the very, 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 very best. And I just wish that, I hope and pray that you get it right and that you stop your bad behavior and falling in love with people that you hate or people that hate you and entering entanglements that are disgusting and entering situationships where you are not sure if you can text at this time. Oh, whether you're not sure whether you can go to their house because you don't know what you will meet there. I pray that you are healed in Jesus' name. Amen. I love you. Thank you for watching. And if you're considering marrying somebody just so that you can bear name, so that they can say that you also are married and the person is not submitted to God, or you are trying to marry somebody because you now have money, or because you want to have sex, or because you want to, hey, in Jesus' name, it will spoil. And in Jesus' name, only the right thing, only God's will for you will be done. Amen. And on that note, I end this episode, which is a rant, to be honest. I end it. And I love you so much. Thank you for listening to me. And I will see you same time next week. Bye. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Oh my God. Like, share, subscribe. Follow OJ has a podcast on social media. Turn on your notifications on YouTube so that you'll be notified every time that we post. Come with full energy. Binge all the other episodes if you haven't already. And yeah, please do all the things. Spam me with comments. I love you. I love you. I love you. And we out.